within the government. But anyway, let's take a look at this particular story on Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Odinga's endorsement. It's sounded like for some of Kalonzo Musyoka for 2027. Raila endorses Kalonzo to face Ruto in 2027 State House contest. First of all, did you have perchance occasion to listen to what Raila Odinga said, or was it just simply saying, this is a good guy? Was he leading him on?
Well, the fact is we must really consider, if not Raila, then who? Okay? That then who is obviously Kalonzo Musyoka. It cannot be Martha Karua. Martha Karua, I'm sorry to say this, did not perform in the last election. She simply did not rise to the occasion enough to warrant a presidential bid endorsement by Raila Odinga. Kalonzo Musyoka, on the other hand, other than betraying Odinga in 2007, has actually stood by Odinga in 2013, 2017, and 2022. If there is anyone who Raila Odinga owes a debt of gratitude, who Raila Odinga could trust to carry Azimio forward, it has to be Kalonzo Musyoka. And Raila Odinga would be best advised not to run for office, because if there's anything that Dr. William Ruto knows how to do, it is how to beat Raila Odinga in elections. He has done so successfully since 2013. In fact, if Raila Odinga dares to confirm that he is on the ballot in 2027, then what William Ruto will do is he will go to sleep, because he'll wake up the night before elections and still beat Raila Odinga. So Azimio is best advised to actually move towards Kalonzo Musyoka. Did, therefore, Raila Odinga endorse Kalonzo Musyoka? Yes, he did. And how do I know that he did? They say that any matter is established in the presence of 2 or 3 witnesses. There was the statement by Edwin Sifuna just the day before, speaking how ODM owes Kalonzo Musyoka a debt of gratitude. He even insinuated how he's very close to Kalonzo's aid, because Kalonzo will be in State House very soon. So it is not just Raila Odinga that is hinting at it. The fact that Edwin Sifuna spoke about it in quite candid terms should tell you where the wind is blowing. And in my view, the wind is blowing in the right way. And I'm glad if that is the case, because Azimio cannot afford to wait last minute to put in its candidates, because if it does that, then I can tell it for free it's planning to fail, even though the failure has been its trait for 3 consecutive elections now.
Ishmael, there is a famous statement about Kalonzo saying, if I support this guy for a 3rd time, then I would be less than smart. And he did so for a 3rd time. So what is the situation here? Is Raila Odinga finally making good on the arrangement, the signed agreement that Kalonzo Musyoka divulged to us? Ama ni kama vile nyinyi machali utufanya sisi madem. You string us along, you keep telling us, pete inakam, pete inakam.
It's just around the corner. Now, there are issues I wanted to talk about, but let me just answer you straightforward. First and foremost, Kalonzo Musyoka is fit actually to take on William Ruto in 2027. There is no doubt he is the best fit. But there is one problem. I hope, again, Raila Odinga and his entourage, Azimio Brigade, will listen to us. And by the way, it is clear indication, Olive, these guys listen to these shows. You remember William Ruto was in Homa Bay or Migori, and he said that... And he laughed it out. And you asked us to comment. He said, until now they are saying it is Kalonzo Musyoka. He laughed. He almost dropped the mic. Of course, that again is a political strategy, because Kalonzo Musyoka is not a full stop. I mean, it's not a dot. He's very, very, one of the most experienced politicians since Kenyatta time, since Kibaki time, since Moi time, until today. So, because
I actually remember you saying Kalonzo Musyoka needs to delegate Bomas of Kenya.
Exactly. And go ground. So what Raila Odinga knows, and he would not convince his supporters unless they start going to the street, going to the people now, and just campaign the usual way. And I think Kenya Kwanza should actually allow people to meet their leaders. I'm not talking about mandamano here. I'm just talking about going to meet the people, greet the people, and tell them we're your leaders, endear themselves to the people. If Kalonzo can start doing that now, they should, in fact, they should borrow William Ruto's script.
But does he have the financial backing to allow him to undertake such an endeavor this early in the game?
I will leave that to those who know those issues in terms of finances, but I am very sure if Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta and all that team, if they want to support Kalonzo Musyoka, that's it. So this leads me to the second point, Olive. When you see, because my brother Arnold is here, again, he said last time there was, and I reminded the people that when you see gossip on the media, please try to track where has it come from. Because already William Ruto knew weeks ago that the jostling in Azimio and in ODM is pointing towards bringing who? Kalonzo Musyoka. Nobody had reported that. But today, you can see all media is trying to say that actually Kalonzo Musyoka is being propped. I mean, it's being brought by the Azimio brigades. So, in the real sense, things that we discuss here, they also have a behind the scenes. Things that we analyze here, in reality, they actually have somewhere they have started. So, we should be very, very cautious when if you say, for example, that there might be, let me just say this outrageously, there might be a handshake. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying, when you see certain things navigate in a certain manner, don't just dismiss and say, oh no, oh no. All of us are friends. Kalonzo Musyoka, like Mark has said, in 2007 he betrayed Raila. Now they are great friends. So even us as citizens of this country, we should never really be so dogmatic and doctrinal as if we are really the ones running a church and our doctrine is being offended. Politics is nothing, is neither here nor there. You will be a friend today, you will be an enemy now, but actually in the afternoon we will do coffee together.
All right. Arnold, the last word on this so that we can transition into the question of privatization. But just, sorry, point to note, Ishmael. You know when you say gossip in the papers, you have to need sources intimate. Otherwise, you end up equating us to tabloids. Yes, Arnold.
So, you're not a tabloid.
First of all, I really have to give it to Nyaribo because he's been very consistent with this gospel of the handshake. Fair enough, there's the economy that comes with the handshake. The handshake economy was one that was so lucrative when it happened in 2007. And of course, in 2018, it brought in quite a number of people. And there is quite a lot of people who are very hopeful that if a handshake were to happen, they will benefit because they are specialists in handshake economics, handshake communication, and everything to do with handshakes. I am not saying that my friend Nyaribo is actually one of them, but I'm actually just happy that he's been very consistent with the hope, even though we know that hope is not a strategy, that probably somewhere, someplace, and like preachers of old who would preach in the wilderness and say things that people didn't believe, he comes off with that particular conviction. So, Nyaribo, we wish you well, but I just needed to say this quickly, that whereas I am no prophet, I know that so long as William Ruto is alive, he will be president in 2027. At least if you're old enough to actually have looked at how dynamics work, then it really doesn't matter whom Azimio on the other side does. But I will actually bring out this. Now that Raila Odinga, you know, Raila is actually a very progressive politician, quite smart. Now that Bomas has made progress, they've agreed on a number of issues, and Kalonzo has actually been the one actually sitting in. It's just important that Raila continues to give Kalonzo that confidence to continue doing the good work. You know, he's actually using Kalonzo the diplomat at NADCO. Because you see, a lot of the guys who were at NADCO, on both sides, were a little bit of hotheads. Young men who want to fold their shirts and throw jabs here and there. Kalonzo, the old diplomat, has actually gone down and helped the situation thaw down. That's why you see a lot of progress being made there. So when Raila does whatever he was doing over the weekend, he's simply telling Kalonzo, you are doing good work. But on the other side, he actually is moving forward because now that we've actually made progress on NADCO and he knows where he's going, he now wants to keep us into what Nyaribo was talking about, meet and greet people and just endear themselves to the people properly. The language Mark will tell you, he wants to take us into a campaign mode. So that then, now we are on this, chasing this, that campaign has already begun and it's about Kalonzo versus William, which is a good thing, even as we move forward. But I wanted you to apologize. specifically to the nation of the hopeful, like Nyaribo and all the other people. You asked a question if Kalonzo has got the financial muscle. As an individual, I have got a problem with that question being posed. We want servant leadership. We want people who come for who they are to ask for their leaders. And then every time somebody stands up to run for office or even declares, like we are talking about Kalonzo here, and the question that is popped immediately is, do they have the money? There's the reality to that end, right?
Yes.
Then there's the ideal side of us, that we are hoping that a good leader, whether he's a boda rider or whoever it is, can actually come to fore and lead this nation. Because in the preamble of our constitution, we have got these lofty desires as a nation, that anyone can be anything. So once you pop that question, and you are an authority, Olive, when you speak here, unaua watu moyo huko chini. So the issue of pushing this financial this thing, it's not just like you are raining on Kalonzo's parade, but then you kill the whole idea that anybody in this country can be anything. So pull out that and just say Kalonzo is capable of getting there, money or no money, because essentially that's where we want to go. The kind of leadership we want and aspire for and speak of here every single day is one that you will show up and tell people, I am Olive, I've worked at Nation, I am this particular smart journalist, and I can be your women rep for Machakos or Makueni or wherever, and people will vote you for who you are. So I just wanted you to, there is a group of human beings, the ideals, to tell them sorry. It's not a big thing.
Olive, before you apologize, let me tell you.
Who said I was going to apologize?
No, let me tell you. Just, I mean, he invited you to do that. But by the way, we are all in Kenya, and with honest heart, Kenyans should wake up to the amount of intelligence and how it is used within the Kenya Kwanza Brigade. You must be so careful and so observant to actually work with these people at their tempo, at their standard. Now, my brother Arnold is telling you, I mean, I know he has interest in politics and all that, but he's a professional right here now. If we use this narrative, honestly, Kalonzo will go and sleep, and he will know that he's already fit, and he can be president anytime. And the Azimio Brigade might be convinced if we follow this narrative and say, okay, money is not very important. That's why I avoided to answer that question, because I honestly don't know how much money is, Kalonzo has, and whether the Uhuru and Raila would support him financially. So I left that. But money is critical. But these Kenya Kwanza technocrats can actually make you, they can just create a narrative that doesn't exist and actually lull you.
Let me get some advice from Master.
Do we really have a Kenya Kwanza on this particular matter?
Let's be very clear. There was a poll that was done about 2 years ago, a study, I should not even call it a poll, about the connection between politics and resources in this country. And it was found that overwhelmingly, the candidates who spent a lot of money in campaigns won those seats, whether it was an MCA seat, it was a governor seat, it was a senator seat, with figures. In fact, they say to be MP, you need to have about 20 million. To run for Senate or governor, you need to have about 60 million. These are things that are documented fact with academics having done that research. So in as much as I agree with Arnold, if we lived in an ivory tower, isolated from the realities of Kenyan politics, then for sure, let the vagabond, the downtrodden, and the person without money have equal chance. But unfortunately, this is Kenya, this is Nairobi. Bila pesa unaenda wapi? Hata mapenzi Nairobi ni ya pesa.
All right, so I'll just move on to privatization.
20 seconds. I need to say this. This is a breakfast show. And whereas I do not prescribe hope so much times, especially when it's about strategy, but we are a nation of dreamers. We are a nation that is going somewhere. So it's important to also sell hope, because hope is a good breakfast. This is a breakfast show. I know hope is a terrible dinner, but it's a very good breakfast. So for them that are actually looking forward, do not listen to the question as asked by Olive, as much as she's refused to apologize.
I've been advised to sidestep that hot potato.
But it's not even a hot potato. It's not a potato. Olive, do not apologize. You are right. The question should be asked. Does Kalonzo have...
teaching you bad manners.
No.
Apologizing is good.
Listen, let's do the arithmetic for presidency in this country. Number one, do you have a tribe that supports you? Okay? It doesn't matter how many choppers you have. If
Yes.
you're Peter Kenneth and you're flying all over the country and you run with Tunawesmek and all these young people are clapping for you, when it comes to vote, if your tribe does not say yes, everyone says no.
Don't have
That's
numbers.
a fact. Number two, if you do not have money to land in 4, 5, 6 different places on the same day, whenever you want, but they forget presidency. That's just how Kenya is. Kenya and the United States are the same. One of the things that the United States tracks every year there's an election, and you can watch this year going into next year, how they will say how each candidate has raised how much money and how that affects their campaign. All if you are a journalist, ask the real question. There's no place, there's no microphone in heaven where everything is perfect. The news exists here because this world is imperfect. Kalonzo needs to tell us whether he has the money. Yeah?
Well,
All right. Arnold, can we leave it there?
it will